Hey everyone, this is my reaction to the 12th and final episode of the second season of One Punch Man. And I know that I'm a little bit late getting into this, things happen, but I'm here doing it now. That's what matters. And what happened in the last episode? Well, mostly things just continue to get worse for Garo as more and more good guys show up to battle him, and he just gets more and more backed into a corner, but that just kind of shows just how tough he is when he gets put into those kind of situations, Kind of like when you corner a cat, you get to see how tough it can be. That's kind of what we're getting a little bit here with Garo. He's really starting to really having to pull out all the stops as far as power goes. I think his hair even changed a little bit, going Super Garo, and just he's got all these people to deal with. He's got his old teacher, Genos is there. I think the teacher's brother's there as well. It's not great, but I think Saitama was actually on his way over here. Was on his way somewhere, I think. He's gonna do something this episode. I can almost guarantee you Saitama will do something this episode. So I'm interested to find out what it is. So let's get into the episode and just find out. 3, 2, 1, play. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty nasty attack to open up with. But you're not going to bring him down that easily. That's the thing. Man, this is... Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Well, wouldn't exactly call it a fair fight. Garo's really been beat and poisoned, and just... It's been a rough couple episodes for Garo. Oh! Oh, damn. Oh, God. That was nasty. Might want to move, Gar. Ooh, or not. Ow. Almost feel that one. Okay, this is just really painful to watch. I think we were starting to lose conscious hours ago, but... Ooh. Okay, finally he missed. A dog. What does it matter? And yeah, he's here too, because, can't have this be anything resembling a fair fight. All that's left is Garo. Don't trivialize him like that. Well, they clearly didn't watch first season. Well, clearly the option is to just go somewhere else. Run away. Yeah, this is an easy thing to walk away from. What about just 20 years? Yeah, here we go again. Yeah, definitely. Apparently not. No, he's still there. So when did they start calling him Oni Cyborg anyway? How? Which Chiranko? The fake one? The real one? We get some more flashbacks. Still a horrible name. That's such a lame name. Yeah, drop kicking is a little bit... that's why you don't speak up in those situations. It's definitely not one of the better ones. Well, you make him into a monster, you might regret that. Yeah, we're just being mean to him and he got all angry. What's up with that? My douchebag classmates? I don't know. Well, maybe you can't tell. Well. Yeah, things aren't exactly fair for the monster here. Nice cross job there. Yeah, how dare you not stand still and let me hit you. Ow. Still a better name than Justice Man. Yeah, 1v1 me, bro. So how's that gonna go? Clearly not well. He knows he wouldn't win a fair fight, so he's not gonna have one. Yeah, and the other kids wouldn't lie or mislead. That wouldn't happen. Flashbacks starting to really irritate me. Well, then do it. Yeah, screw it all. Okay. Just how much more fight does he have in him? Oh, wow. That was an attack. Yeah, actually might go Super Saiyan at this rate. Oh. No, he summoned a bird. And I guess he found his chance. Of course, Genos' response is just blow it up. How about you don't do that? Oh, Senti Chono? I thought we were done with the centipedes. But I guess not. Didn't we have like Centipede, Kohai, and Senpai, I think it was? So. Yeah, that's a big one. Oh. Whoa, well, that was fast. You know, you could let them fall in the hole, I wouldn't blame you. Oh yeah, that was the ugly face one. Okay, now I remember it. I kind of forgot about that giant centipede. It was probably for the best. That fight probably was gonna end well for you. Endgame. But you know, the whole not killing thing is how you're supposed to know he's not truly a monster. So that's kind of important. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, Tatsumaki could probably take you on. Yeah, probably him as well. Well, no, probably not that one. Probably not. Blast. Have we ever seen that one in the show? I don't think we have. Yeah, I don't think Silver Fang's gonna be able to do much against Centipede. Fair enough. Then I guess we'll see how they fare. Yeah, he's the only one that can actually fight an opponent like this. Something that martial arts isn't good at. Well, I made a crater. Does that help? We, we actually have some sibling team attacks here. That's something. Ooh, wow, it actually does doing a little bit. Maybe we may have underestimated what they could do to our centipede enemy over here. Wow. Yeah, that was impressive. Just don't underestimate the power of siblingness. Okay, yeah, we gotta have a combo attack to really finish it off. So what was that about these guys not being compatible with you? Oh. Get back in there, whoosh. Yeah, that was some damage. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of Centipede, so I kind of like it to break as well. Centipede's one of the most terrifying insects there are. And I think he just got scarier looking, somehow. Did it just grow back the exoskeleton? Did it really just do that? Oh, that's so gross. It's like 3 faces there. Ugh. Well, what's our plan B? I think we might need Saitama for this. Of course, he's never gonna take that advice. This is Genos we're talking about. Okay, here we go. See what Genos has got against this thing. Well, maybe he has an idea. You don't know. Oh, that thing is so scary. Oh. Oh, there he is. He didn't get eaten. Garo is not a part of that. Clear the sky. Oh, right for the eyes. Oh, God. I guess a face is only real weak point, so makes sense. Ah, bit the leg. Thing is absolutely huge. Very dangerous game of Snake over here. Ugh. Okay, so, now what? Ooh. Did he get cut in half there? Yeah, he did. Ouch. That's pretty bad. Good thing he can survive almost anything. Okay, I thought he was gonna self-destruct on us there. Oh, just puts himself back together. Oh. Okay, that turned around a little bit there. Let's see if this attack does anything. Wow. Oh, that is so much power. Nani? You went in my mouth. How gross. Usually it's the other way around. Oh, that looks too squishy to do much damage, but that'd be so unpleasant. Oh, well, I guess that's worse then. Well, I want to blow him up from the inside before you melt, Genos. Yeah, I'll melt you before you melt me. Ultra Spiral Incineration Cannon! Boom! Well, how did that digestion work out for you? Meanwhile, they just gotta watch. Yeah, that looks unpleasant for you. Ooh, I think you landed head first. Ow. So, are you done now, Genos? Is he done? Is the fight done? I don't know. It looks like he's coming back together. We're probably gonna need Saitama to finish him off. Yeah, this would be a good time for Saitama to walk up and say, hey, Genos, you need some help? So, hopefully Saitama does that soon. I'm never gonna get used to him calling him Oni-chan. It's just so funny. Well, that's true, but you just too much was thrown at you in this fight. I'm sure you guys haven't seen the last of Garo. Maybe you need more metal parts. Well, you just gotta get on Saitama's level. It's not that hard. You're his apprentice, right? So, shouldn't you be learning something from him? Oh. I'll just set you here. Gross, Genos. Oh, off with the jacket. We are serious. Yeah, unless, of course, Saitama shows up. Or, was that King? Yeah, I think that's King. What are you gonna say? And where's Saitama? Is he with you? Oh, is Blast really here? It got his attention. Glass is the one that has a chance, right? This is gonna get his attention, and yeah, of course he's gonna be sweating and have that heartbeat going. Yeah, what, you scared, bro? You don't want to fight? The real scared one's King, but he's being quite brave by doing this in spite of that. Oh, that's a mental image that I don't want to see. Yeah, but what does it really do for us? Yeah, that's what King wants. It's gonna punch him and I'll be good. Yeah, I don't think Blast is actually there, so... How long is this bluff gonna do anything? Yes, I hear that too. Okay, King, how are you gonna handle this? Is Saitama gonna pop out of nowhere? And Saitama, any minute now, he can show up. There we go. Saitama, please don't let me die here. And we're gonna have our one punch. And the music's playing. Boom! There we go. Let's see if you can take that, Centipede. I already know the answer, of course, but you're about to find out. Yeah, that's a punch. Just, yeah, try regrowing the exoskeleton now. And everything else as well. I don't think you can. I think you're done. You gross bug. Well, that's been solved. Luckily, Bang did not have to sacrifice himself. Of course, he will be here. He's usually the opening act for you. Well, he actually got to do something this season, so. Oh yes, was that not obvious? I don't know. I think you're lacking a lot, Genos. Like you could afford to mellow out a little bit. Just in general. Show me the way, Saitama. But yeah, I think Genos' biggest fault is he's just way too serious all the time. Kinda love that shot of Tatsumaki and Fubuki. So we just like play the opening at the end? Sure, why not? I mean, yeah, I kind of figured that's how the episode slash show would end. Saitama would finally show up and finish it off, but still satisfying to watch nonetheless. But yeah, just all the Garo flashbacks, that sort of thing always just bothers me a lot. Watching those sort of childhood bullying stuff just always gets to me. Oh yeah, Sirio, you were part of the show before, weren't you? But yeah, this overall arc is still not done yet. We still have to deal with the Monster Association. Like the Monster King and all that, but I guess that's for next season. Which, will we get a Season 3 announcement at the end of this? Maybe? We'll see. Okay, the opening's over. Well, he needs his rest after today. Soon. How soon? Like, tomorrow? And then it's just over. Yeah, no Season 3 announcement there. Okay, that was the 12th and final episode of the second season of One Punch Man. And this episode, a lot of it was mostly just, well, maybe not a lot of it, actually, less than I thought it would be. A little bit of it was Garo continuing to fight against Bong and Bong's brother and Genos and all that. And he's doing this after already being severely injured by previous fights, you know. He's just been through so much ever since this whole little mini arc started. Ever since he was defending the child against those 5 A ranks that ganged up against him, you know. That all would be like a joke if they 1v1 him, but because they worked as a team, they were able to accomplish some stuff. But still, even together, we're not able to actually defeat Garo, because of course not. Not even when those weaklings gang up together can they actually manage such a thing. However, even though Garo dealt with that, he still just have more and more people just showing up to fight him. And that's kind of how it always goes with monsters, right? You know, they might be able to defeat somebody, but more people will just show up until they've been dealt with. And that's just how it goes. And yeah, Garo not wanting to be defeated, but he was, like, exited from the situation. When the bird that was waiting for his opportunity to grab him and fly away, grabbed him and flew away. And then let Senna Choto show up into the fight, who I kind of forgot about, really. Like, I thought he was just kind of dealt with, but no, he was still around. And he popped back up to fight the people that Garo was up against. And the bird thing made a big spiel about how, you know, some opponents only match each other better than others, and those martial artists, they're not going to be able to do anything to this centipede. And then they're just like, boom, Oni-chan attack! And just broke its exoskeleton, which looked really impressive, but it's less so when, you know, we can just regenerate it. So I guess it accomplished a lot. And then Genos, who is very powerful, has a lot of raw explosive power, which has always been what he's valued. He used that against him. Went for the face, which is smart because that's his only, like, relatively weak part. And actually got swallowed, which led him a chance to, like, boom, kind of explode while inside of there. And you'd think, wow, surely, yeah, the inside would be the weak point, because there's no, like, he can't regrow his insides, like he regrows his exoskeleton, right? But no, he was fine after that as well. So at that point, it was like, okay, we've exhausted our options, it's time to leave. And they left. And he had Bong, who was going to 1v1 the centipede with what he had left, but he didn't have to, because King showed up with a megaphone to say, hey, big ugly bug thingy, you want some of this? Yeah, you want some of this? Come here, I'll fight you. And then he's like, oh, well, I would be more than happy to fight you. Whooshy, whooshy, whoosh, and then flies towards him. And then he stands there like, okay, Saitama, you're gonna, like, jump in here, right, at the last second, right? You're not gonna actually let me die to this thing, right? Right, Saitama? Right, boom, oh, thank God he actually did it. So that was a fun little scene. Yeah, even though King is so weak, it's always nice to see him stand there in spite of that. Like, he would die very easily if that bug just blinked at him the wrong way. And yet he still stood there, right in front of it, not running away. Which is very admirable. He may not have the physical strength that people think he has, but he's got the heart of a hero. That's what matters at the end of the day. As we've seen, some people that do have the strength of a hero, not quite very heroic, so... Yeah, I still think King's cool, even if he's a little bit of a fraud, it's sort of, but, you know. He's a little bit like Moomin Rider, you know. He doesn't have the strength to back it up, but he still shows up when he's needed, as he did in this episode. So yeah, that was pretty much this episode. Not much to say on that. So, time to just, like, talk about the season as a whole. As a whole, I would say this season was kind of weaker than the first season. You know, the season definitely had good things I liked about it. There's no doubt about that. The big thing would be getting to have other characters that didn't really have much time to shine in the first season. They had a bit more time in this season. We got to see some other people have some time to actually do things, which is nice. But on the flip side of that, it also means less Saitama, One Punch Man. And the show is called One Punch Man, so when a show called One Punch Man has not a lot of One Punch Man doing important things, you know, it's always going to make the show feel kind of off, even if you do appreciate some characters having that screen time. So that's kind of a, you know, pros and cons of that nature. It just felt kind of weird when Saitama is so uninvolved with things like, hey, a tournament, I'll do this, earn some money. I did the tournament. I didn't actually get any money, though, because I was discovered, you know, which anybody could have predicted that. And he also plays video games with the king, which is fun and a little bit funny, I guess. But again, just so out of the important events, which just kind of makes you be like, come on, Saitama, people are dying out there. I know this is a fun game and all, but you can help people, So that was a little bit frustrating. Seeing all these weak heroes struggling against one of the worst problems that ever happened, while Saitama just not doing much to help, really, until the problem literally comes to his doorstep. Like, to the tournament arena that he was fighting at and stuff like that. But yeah, that was the one thing with the show. But definitely the most interesting aspect of well, I guess there's really two interesting aspects. One of them was which kind of ties into the other one, but that's the whole idea of heroes and their heroicness in general. Like, we had Suryu, I think his name was. He's the one that kind of brought this up. Like, I'm really powerful, but I'm not a hero. I'm not a member of the Hero Association, and I can beat up a lot of these, like, your best heroes. Like, they're kind of a joke. Who even needs heroes anyway? Like, if you think you deserve to live, then get strong. Like, if you can't get strong and defend yourself, then the natural selection, you'll just die. This whole hero thing is so unnecessary. And he talked a lot about that. And then as soon as he needed a hero, he called for one. So, very, very telling right there. But yeah, it just kind of started the dialogue in general, like heroes' attitude, their role in society. Are they truly heroes, or are they just, glorified mercenaries or bodyguards, they want to call it, and all that sort of thing? And that subject was kind of brought up with that stuff, but I think it really got relevant with the whole Garo stuff. And that, I would say, would be the most interesting thing about this season, was Garo in general, which I did not expect at all at the very beginning of this season, because we had Garo. It was like, wow, this tough guy. He's like the apprentice from Bong, that's like his #1 student that beat up everyone and left, that was mentioned in season 1. Because he said that when Saitama and Genos were over there. It's like, is that guy really your best? I think that was like Trumpo. It's like, yeah, I had a better student, but he beat up everyone and left, and then everybody else left, and he's all we got left. So we obviously heard a lot about Garo before, and I was pretty excited to see this character when I watched the first season. So getting to see him in this season was really cool. But still, I didn't think there would be all that much depth to him. Initially, I just thought, well, he's obviously some sort of edgelord, just wants to beat up people, and he just has fun doing it. That's his character in a nutshell. There's nothing more to it. That's what I thought at first. The hero hunter, he would just be like the main bad guy of the season, or at least like the first half of the season. That's kind of what my thoughts were. But we started to see a bit more of him. Well, we saw plenty of him beating up the heroes, fighting them, and he enjoyed doing it. He called himself a monster. He was a self-proclaimed monster, and that was always a little bit weird to me. I didn't really initially get that. It's like, why he called himself a monster? Like, I was just kind of initially just dismissing that as just edgelord behavior, But there was obviously more to that we learned, and I did like how we progressively learned more about Garo, as some of his actions seemed a little bit odd and wasn't really a little bit confused about. For example, interacting with that one child, which was a little weird to me. But he did have a little bit of hero monster discussions with the child. And I think another part of that was probably, we saw his childhood, right? How it was not exactly a pleasant one, and how he was treated and all that. And that child was probably around the same age as he was in the flashbacks, so there's probably a part of him that wanted to have like a proper friendship like that he kind of may have missed out on back then, because he was such an unpopular loner kid, and he probably, seeing that child probably reminded him of that time, and the child probably was like, what's a good way to say this? Like, I don't know, like the child, like the friend he never had back then kind of thing. Like, I think that may have been something in the back of his mind why he wanted to interact with him as much as he did and wanted to protect him and all that. So, once you learn more about Garo, a lot of his behavior did make more sense. And of course, just seeing the fighting scenes with Garo was cool, because he was just so powerful. He was able to take on these super powerful heroes, and it was cool to watch. But for a lot of that, I just viewed him as a villain that needed to be taken down. Kind of a cool villain, but still just a villain nonetheless. But as we did learn more about him, about his childhood, about his perception of heroes and monsters being a little bit different than what's typical. Like, a lot of people just view this as a very simplistic manner, the monsters come by to destroy things, they're bad. The heroes show up to save them, and as a result, the heroes get cheered and people celebrate them, and he's over there like, but guys, that poor monster, he just wanted to break some stuff and eat some people, and you just all ganged up on him and just kill them. Like, that's not okay. Don't you feel bad for the monster at all? And people are just like, no. He's a monster. Why would we feel bad for him? Like, but why the monster? And you know, and that's really from that mentality stemmed a lot of what happened. I mean, first we found out about him, like his monster sympathy, and then we got more, especially in this episode, we got into him actually straight up being treated like a monster over and over again, and as a result, that would obviously increase his empathy for monsters, because he knows what it's like to be one now, because that's how he's treated, so you can't really blame somebody for being a self-proclaimed monster as an adult, beating up heroes, when his childhood was him being treated like a monster and beaten up by people that call themselves a hero, you know. And there was obviously a lot of parallels between his horrible past and now, whereas heroes are still ganging up on him and trying to beat him up, and all that's people that really probably shouldn't be calling themselves heroes, especially. So, I loved all that depth with this character and how much we did get into him and his mentality and his backstory and how we got to where he is. And yeah, at this point, I think I do have a pretty much almost perfect understanding of that character, which is obviously a big difference to the zero understanding I had at the beginning of the series. So I think easily Garo was the most interesting part of this show. And it definitely made watching some of these later fight scenes very conflicted, you know, because we have like characters like Genos that we've been following since the very early on in the first season. So obviously I would usually root for Genos, and I have in pretty much every fight Genos has been in, really. And now we have a very different situation here with Garo, where we've seen so much of what he's been through and where he's coming from, and seeing him get ganged up on and bullied by all these heroes. And then after, we had a lot of that making me feel for Garo, wanting to root for him, you know, because he's fighting against the odds and all that. And then we have Genos show up, and I don't know who to root for at that point. Like, I was very conflicted. Like, but I'm usually supposed to root for Genos, but Garo, like, everything he's been through, I can't really root against him. So, like, what do I do? So that was kind of, any kind of fight that can make you feel that conflicted about who you want to win. That's obviously some pretty good writing there, some pretty good characterization for them, if they can actually get you to that point. So, yeah, I would say overall the Garo stuff was by far the best thing about this season to me. And honestly, probably the only real memorable aspect of it, really. I mean, aside from that and the Fubuki stuff. I, of course, liked getting Fubuki, because we got very little of her in Season 1, but I knew she was Tatsumaki's sister, which got my attention. And, you know, she always had a very nice presence, aura to herself whenever I saw her in, like, openings and stuff, and I always wanted to get into that character a little bit. I especially want to see some Fubuki and Tatsumaki interactions, and we got a little bit of that. I would have liked more, would have liked a lot more, but at least we got something. And when Fubuki did interact with Saitama, that was probably some of the funniest stuff in the second season here. I liked that a lot. So yeah, I think the Garo stuff and the Fubuki stuff is probably what I remember the most, with giving like third place to probably the Suryu stuff in the tournament. Like, but aside from that, everything else with the show with the season was a little bit on the forgettable side. I'm introducing the Monster Association's obviously good potential for stuff, and I'm sure we're obviously gonna continue the Monster Association in the hypothetical, theoretical season 3. So, because the problem's still not dealt with, right? You know, even Garo's not even really finished here. He was exited out of there before he was killed, and I do feel like he probably would have been killed if that fight was allowed to continue, because it just wasn't fair. Like, not even close to fair. So yeah, even Garo's not done yet, and the Monster Association is definitely not done. Still got Orochi and all that. So there's a lot to still be done with that, of course. So, and I do like that how they brought that up, because up until now there really hasn't been much in the way of enemy organizations, aside from the House of Evolution, I guess, which was dealt with fairly quickly. But this is not that. This is a much bigger, grander scale thing. We have an actual evil organization that very parallels the Hero Association. So it's very much more of a war type thing than the random skirmish that we usually got when some sea king walks up on shore and is like, okay, I'm going to take this place over. This is quite a bit different than that, you know. So it's pretty cool that we have that. So, and I do think that's about everything I wanted to say on the season. I mean, it definitely had some good action scenes, which you would expect from One Punch Man. So that was obviously pretty cool. We just didn't get to see a lot of Saitama in them, you know. Although the tournament thing was kind of funny, I guess, even though it was pretty obvious how that would end. Yeah, I guess my overall takeaway is that I like the second season. It's always good to get one more One Punch Man in general, but I would say it was overall weaker than season one. Although it did have some very good parts in its own right, with the whole Garo thing being definitely the best part of it, and probably individually better than any one thing in the first season. The whole Garo stuff, definitely the most interesting character to be brought into the show. I would say it's a pretty safe bet. And but yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely want that to be the main takeaway that people take away from this. I did enjoy the second season. Like, I'm not trying to say otherwise. And if there is a third season, I will definitely watch it, and hopefully there is. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Cnouki for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment, because that's a great and easy way to let me know that people want more. If you want to do something big to help the channel, you can support me on Patreon and get nice benefits like early access to certain videos. See you next time.